Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. So today we're going to be continuing on with what I was doing yesterday, which is generally going through the backlog of tasks that I have, but more specifically we were working on obelisk powers. And I think there's one or two more events to add obelisk powers for, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then we will see what's left in the backlog and just keep going down the list basically. So that's what we'll be doing today. Before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting, so if you would do that, I would appreciate it. That would help me out a lot. And you can also support the game on Patreon if you subscribe at the $15 a month tier here. This is like a pre-purchase of the game. I'll send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, but also your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So if that sounds good to you, definitely consider doing that. And I also have my Udemy courses available for purchase. This is also a great way to support me, but it's a great way to learn how to build games in the Godot engine as well. So if you want to learn how to build games like I do, then yeah, definitely check those out. And you can also join the Discord server that is linked in the description below as well. All right, let's say hello. Hello, Clicker Tail. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hello, Jacket Daytona. Good morning. It is indeed time for game dev once again. Bubblegum Lord, hello. Welcome. Good to have you on the stream. Sorry about that. I'm still getting over this flu. 1 second here. Okay. Good morning, Monkey Software. Welcome. Obelisk Power, the oboe's disc. Change 3 nodes to toot oboe music. That is an interesting idea, but I will have to reject it. Sorry. Try again. I'm kidding. Berserker, hello. Welcome. Okay, so obelisk powers. What are we missing here? What are we missing? Enchant, artifact, upgrade card, shop reagent, combat. Okay. So I think we need a max health one, which should be relatively easy, and a grow board one. Interesting. I'm going to change this grow board event. That is something that I have written down in the to-do list, so maybe I won't add an obelisk power for that one just yet. We already have one for booster, I believe. Yeah, so let's do not grow board, max health, I guess. So we'll need to add a new item for this. Event type, max health. Okay. We're going to call this one new max health. We'll just do additional max health map node effect. Transforms 2 nearby nodes into health upgrade nodes. All nearby health upgrade nodes will increase by an additional 5 hit points or something like that. Okay, that should work. So let's create that map node effect. Additional max health map node effect. Let's do this. Health, upgrades, increase maximum health by an additional 5 points. Get grouped description, this one. We'll just take that occurrences and multiply it by 5. Cool. All right, so max health. I think it's health event state machine. Yeah, here we go. So we got a set tier here. Sorry, the dog is going wild for a second. Okay. Anyway, so this needs to be health increase values, costs. I think I just need to change the costs here. Or no, not the cost, the health increase values. So I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. Maybe I'll just do int additional health. So that should work. Guess I don't need those parentheses. Cool. So now in here, what I could do is I can do additional health is equal to map node effects manager dot count map node effects of type additional max health map node effect context dot current node. Here's what I'll do. I'll just put a constant in here, public int health increase equals 5. Health increase oh, this needs to be a const. There we go. It's like, why couldn't I reference it? Pass the additional health in there. Okay, that should work. Dog tax. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this, I suppose. So we should see these normal values here are 10, 15, and 25. So it should be 15, 20, and 30. Oh, I need to probably change this, but let's see. Yeah. For testing purposes, I need to remove all these other options. Okay. Give it a shot. Alrighty, very nice. So I guess we'll just go to this one and see what happens. Resets by 15, 20, and 30. There we go. That works just fine. All right. So I think that means that we're basically done with the obelisk powers. We still need to add one for the grill board event, but like I said, I'm going to redo that one anyway. Or add obelisk power for max health. All right, well, we could call this one done. I will just create a new card for add obelisk power for new grow board event. Okay. Add more trigger node buffs, debuffs. We can do that. Update the map node tooltips. That is going to need to be done. That would be a good idea. Animate floating eye fog reveal texture on spawn. Let's do that one. That should be relatively quick. So I have these floating eyes that kind of wander around the map now. So this one here. And the problem is when it spawns, there is no animation for this, like, to grow. This is going to be easier to test if I go here. If I go to my test player cards, let's do God mode here. And then let's also add debug notoriety level of 99. So now if I go to one of these things, should trigger the boss fight pretty much immediately. Kill the boss with the God mode mutton. This is a little bit annoying, but wait for some of the floating eyeballs to spawn. I don't know if you saw that, but this one spawned up here, just kind of like instantly popped in. So anyway, I think we have this floating eye manager here, which manages the spawning of those floating eyes. I think, let's see. Update Inquisition spread on map entered. Update positions, place initial floating eye. So place floating eye here. Emit signal floating eye placed. Floating eye placed. Fog of War sub viewport. Here we go. Okay, yeah, so we got this. I think I just need to add this tween here. Scale equals vector 2.0. And then that tween should play. Yeah, I think that's it. That's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. But let's go ahead and test it, I suppose. Hello, V. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Go into the boss fight real quick, smack him up with that mutton, and then let's see what's going on here with the floating eyeballs. Yep, that worked. That one animated in for sure. Yeah, I think it's working. Kind of hard to tell, but... yeah, that one definitely grew in as well. Okay, well that was a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be, which is good. I'm all for simple things. So animate, floating, eye, reveal, radius. That one's good. Okay. Add a mini boss node that offers extra rewards. Well, we're going to need to create a mini boss for that. Update map tooltip to show effects more nicely with icons and such. I think that one's going to be pretty necessary. I need to figure out what to do about the resurrection mechanic still. Oh, I need to overhaul the boosters as well. Well, we can brainstorm some of these things together. Admittedly, I haven't really thought about how to make the resurrection a little bit nicer. So, problem with the resurrection is that it's just too easy right now to keep resurrecting, because all it requires is that you sacrifice 2 cards. So if you have a bunch of 1x1 cards, then it's relatively easy to resurrect many times. So one interesting thing to do could be to change how much health you resurrect with based on how many cards you sacrifice, and not how many, it's based on the amount of cells that the cards occupy. So, I mean, that could work. That might actually be an interesting thing to do, because then you have to make a decision about how much health you want to give yourself back, and the amount of health that you get back when you resurrect is going to be directly related to how much of the resurrection board you fill in. That might work. That might work. Because then it becomes a problem of, like, you kind of have to know how much health you need to survive the combat. Or kind of have to have an inkling of that. Maybe we could try that. So, let's see. Change amount of health resurrected with to scale with number of cells filled on resurrection grid. That might be an interesting one to do. Be a relatively simple change, and also more interesting. Oh, hello, cat. The chat. Anyway, we also need to overhaul the booster event, because I don't think the booster event is that interesting, so I need some ideas for that as well, if anyone has any. Otherwise, I'll have to think about that. Yeah, let's do this one. Let's just see. I'm liking the idea of changing the resurrection to give you a certain percentage of health back. So let's take a look at that and see what we could do. Resurrection. I'm never alarmed, as everything is alarming all the time. Okay. Gosh, I'm ready to stop being sick. I'm ready for it. So, let me think. Resurrection container. Sacrifice is not check complete. So we're going to change this. Right now this requires 2 cards that you sacrifice. So this is going to be changed just so that you have to fill as much of that board as possible. Like you got to play a little bit of inventory Tetris. Hey! What are you doing? Oh my gosh, these animals. Too many animals. I just don't know where to start here. So we have, it's a 3x3 grid. So maybe what I can do is require that. I don't necessarily want the player to have to fill the grid to get 100% health. So maybe we require something like 6 cells to be filled to get the full health benefit. So, let's see here. I just don't know how to start this. Get well wishes, thank you. I'm about to eat a whole bucket of chicken. Very nice. KFC or something else. You know what's interesting? When I was in China, I guess a week and a half ago or so now, I knew that there was like American fast food places in China, but I was kind of expecting McDonald's to be very popular. But KFC is by far more popular in China than McDonald's, which is something that I was not expecting because I don't know anyone that regularly eats at KFC in the United States. So that was weird. But anyway, little anecdote for you. Little anecdote for you. Well, let's do this. Private const int max health required cells is equal to 6. All right, so when we place a card on the board, register board. Board inventory component card placed. Or I guess we could do grid board state updated plus equals on board state updated. On board state updated. Private void on board state updated. Okay, so now we're going to get the number of filled cells from the cards. So we're going to say var cards on board is equal to board.board inventory component get cards on board like so. Var occupied cell count is equal to cards on board dot count x dot relative occupied. Oh no, we want to do sum here. Dot count. I can do cell count, I think. Yeah. Okay. So var resurrection health percentage is equal to This would be float occupied cell count divided by max required cells. We're going to do mathf dot clamp this value. Actually, we don't need to do clamp. We could do mathf dot min of that and 1. Okay, so that will give us our resurrection health percentage. What I'll do actually is I'm going to move this into a different method here. Private void, or no, private float get resurrection health percentage. That can go in there. So we're going to want to update this. Some kind of tooltip equals get resurrection health percentage. Okay. So let's actually just make this work before I change anything else. We're going to get rid of the number of sacrifices. Target card sacrifice, get rid of that. Add clickable validator. We're going to do card count is greater than 0. Okay. Invalid clicked. Add at least 1 card to the altar. We can get rid of this. Cool. This text doesn't need to be a variable. Okay. Alrighty. So now, target card sacrifice, resurrection complete. Where is that at? Resurrection complete. On resurrection complete, state resurrect, enter state resurrect, emit signal finished. I don't know where that is. Run manager, player resurrected, state player resurrected. This is healing to full here. So that's healing to full. So I need to figure out how to get the player health component to resurrect with a certain percentage. That's happening in the run manager here, though. I think I'm just going to have to do something a little bit finicky here. I'm going to have to do something a little bit finicky here. So we'll start from this side here. Check complete. Let's see. Sacrifice. We can get rid of this. We're going to get rid of that. This can be emit signal resurrection complete in here. Okay. And then we're going to do float resurrection health percentage. Pass that in there. Okay, so that'll work. WFC better than KFC, but my favorite local place wasn't open, so that's sad. I don't know what WFC is. I like restaurants with puns for names. Did you enjoy local cuisine in China? Yeah, I like Chinese food, for sure. It was pretty good. I don't do very well with spicy food, so that was a little bit of an issue, but it's alright. It was good. The nicheness of that anecdote. I love it, yeah. So on resurrection complete in here, this is where we're going to need the float resurrection health percentage here. State machine change state resurrect. I think I just need to make a custom signal here, unfortunately. So there's a finished event or a finished signal in the base event state machine here, but I think I'll need a different one. Resurrection. Let's just do resurrection finished, I guess. Float health percentage. Okay. We're gonna have to store that. Private float resurrection health percentage. It's a little bit weird, but it's all right. Resurrection health percentage is equal to resurrection health percentage. We'll do this. Okay. And then in the state resurrect here, we're going to do emit signal resurrection finished instead. And then in the run manager, resurrection finished, float health percentage. We're going to have to store this now. Private float resurrection health percentage. Resurrection health percentage is equal to health percentage. We'll go now into this resurrection. Let's do public void heal percent. Float percent. We'll just copy this, I suppose. Amount var amount to heal is equal to mathf dot seal to int health component max health times percent. Okay, and then we're going to do var amount diff is equal to health. Well, I guess I actually don't need that. Well, that's fine. Just trying to think. Target health. So that's our target health there. And then we need the current health. So var amount to heal is equal to health component dot current health is greater than target health. We'll do 0. Otherwise, target health. Let's rename this 2%. Target health minus health component current health. That should work. Health component dot heal, amount to heal. And we'll just copy this here. Okay. Hello, Casiosi. Why new Singla is unfortunately? I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry. The looking at the screen and thinking is so relatable. Yeah. We are getting some brain exercise in. Okay, so now we need to do heal 2%. Resurrection health percentage. Okay. I think that might work. So, there's really nothing left to do except to test that out. Can I override my player health with my debug? Well, it doesn't matter. I guess I have to go find something to die to. Wonder if I can make the combats more difficult. How would I do that? I don't remember how the combat scoring works. Difficulty scorer. Score bias. I think I can just change the score bias here. We'll just multiply this by 3. I just need the combats to be difficult enough to where I'll die on the first couple of them. Oh, make a new signal, unfortunately. Gotcha. I gotcha. Alright, let's see if I die to this one. Let's combat over here. Oh. Well, I guess I could have died to the boss. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't really need to do any of that, but let's see. We'll die to the boss instead. Okay, let's just go ahead and die. Okay, so now we've got the resurrection here. So if I put just 3 cards in here, I should heal to 25 health. Nice. Okay, that worked just fine. And if I fill up 6 slots, I should heal to full. Nice. Okay. So now the resurrection is, the amount of health you resurrect with is directly tied to how many cells you fill. So we want to indicate that now in the UI. Let's get rid of that score bias before I forget to change it back. So we can stage all those changes. Now I got to figure out what to do about this. Got to put some kind of indicator on the screen. I mean, we could just put a... I guess we could just put a label here. No, that's not going to work. Hello, Evan. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Where do I want to put this? I guess I'll have to just put it in here. Layout, transform, position. We want to do auto wrap on. Okay, so that's what I want. And then we can do center. We'll see what that does. I don't know if that's going to be exactly ideal, but let's call this health label, I suppose. Access that as unique name. Node private label health label. Private string health text. Health text is equal to health label.text. Health label.visible equals false. Okay. Cards on board. Get cards on board dot length is greater than 0. Health label dot visible is equal to has cards. We've got the health percentage here. So the problem now is I need to have a reference to the player. Can I do this? Var player board is equal to this dot get board manager dot get player board. That'll work. We got the health percentage here. So var health to restore is equal to player board. We're going to do mathf dot sealed to int player board combat component health, no, player board dot health component dot max health. We'll default it to 0 if that happens to be null for whatever reason. Health percentage. Okay, health label dot text or health label dot text is equal to string dot format health text health to restore. Okay, let's see if that works. Need to change that back to Dragon Apple, yeah. Hello, Kinyaz. My dude was imperative to visualization, yes. Welcome back to the stream. Okay. Let's go die to the boss. All right, let's see. You'll resurrect with 34 health. You'll resurrect with 42 health. It'll resurrect with 50 health. That all works. If I put this on there, cool. If I remove all this, okay, that seems to work. So yeah, so now you can kind of directly choose how powerful you come back, which also changes the cost of the resurrection sort of dynamically. So now, well, let me try something actually. Yeah, so it will still show you how much enemy health there is, which is good. So I could do this and this. Nice. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. So we changed it from requiring multiple cards. Changed it from requiring multiple cards, or 2 cards, to just you do 1 sacrifice, and the sacrifice will resurrect you with the amount of health that sort of scales with how not how many cards you put in, but how many spaces the cards you put in occupy. Commit, count, reveal when. I can look it up right now if you want me to. I have 1773 commits, 1,773. Cool. All right, I think that that should be good. We may still need to do some changes to the resurrection, but I think that's better overall. So yeah, I think that's good. Okay, change how resurrection works. Cool. We are working our way through this to-do list. That is 1/3 more times more than last time. Oh, is it? Interesting. Okay, what's the next thing we should do? Add mini boss node that offers extra rewards. That one's going to be a little bit involved. Improvements to combat log. Gosh. Yeah, improvements to combat log. That's going to be necessary. We do need to rework the booster. I need to figure out how to make the booster more interesting. Obelisk can change triggered nodes, which can have buffs, debuffs that don't make sense for the node. Did I fix that? I think I might have already fixed that. Let's take a look at this bug here and see if we can... I think I already fixed it, but I'm going to need to test it and check it out. We just need to add more trigger node buffs, debuffs as well. That's like when the Inquisition blesses a node and changes it. So that's gonna be relatively similar to the obelisk powers. Okay, we're gonna try to fix this bug. We'll see what happens here. But I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll check out this bug, and then, assuming that that's easy to fix, we will figure out, yeah, what to do next. Some of this stuff I need to think about some more, like overhauling the booster event, figuring out how to make that more interesting. This mini boss node, I'm not sure what to do about that either. And then the next biggest thing I think that I have in the to-do list here is the, well, I want to redo the grill board event. I'm going to make it like a homunculus. the idea that I have for the grill board event is that it'll be a homunculus with, you know, its limbs. So it's got like the arms and legs, and then depending on which arm or leg you choose is the direction that the board will grow in. But I need to do all the art and stuff for that. Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break. We'll fix this bug and then we'll find something else to work on. So I will be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's figure this out. Going into the trigger nodes, how do I do this? Trigger configuration. I don't remember where this is. Seeded run. Generate triggered nodes. Here we go. Let's just change this to 100, 200. And then, yeah, that should be good enough. So let's see what happens. So basically what happens is, oh, I need to change something here. I need to change this debug mode back to 0. Here's a cat. The cat needs attention always. Okay, so I'll move to this one. Oops. I suppose I shouldn't have done that. All right, so that, yeah, trigger nodes contains one guaranteed death orchid. Reduce your minimum. Okay, so let's go here. Let's change into combat nodes and see if that, yeah, here we go. So that changed the node type, but now it still has the contains one guaranteed death orchid. So that's the problem. That contains one guaranteed death orchid. So when the node type changes from the map node, well, let me see. Trigger configuration. How does this actually work? Get effects to apply to neighbors. Animate map node blessings. Apply map node effect. Okay. Actually, force slurp camera to position. No, that one is okay. Animate map node changes is the one. So change node type and generate configurations. So the problem here, I need to be able to know when a node type has changed. Change node type and generate configurations. Map container. Change type, emit signal type changed. Okay, so in my map node effects manager, I think what I need to do is I need to listen for the node type change probably in here. Hello, Defected. Welcome back. Good to see you. So, this is going to be annoying. This is going to be very annoying. So in this node here, node.type changed. Yeah, I'm going to need to store a dictionary of run map node. Callable. Node type changed callables is equal to this. Private void on node type changed. We'll do something like clear incompatible effects. So I'll fill that out in a second. We're going to have to pass in a run map node here. Okay. So going all the way back up, var callable is equal to callable.from run map node. Instance.on node type changed. Node.connect run map node type changed callable. Instance.node type changed callables node equals callable. All right. That's a little bit annoying, but that's all right. So we're going to connect it there. So on node type change, let's fill out this clear incompatible effects. Private void, clear, incompatible effects, run map node. Oh gosh, what did Copilot do? So that's fine. Event type filter. So where context to remove, filter is not equal to null, and context.mapNodeEffect.event type filter is not equal to node.nodeEvent type. Okay. MapNodeEffects.remove. Oh, did Copilot actually do some work here? We're going to remove that. If node type change callables, try get value node out callable callable. We don't need that. Out var callable. Node disconnect type changed callable. Node type change callables, remove node. Emit signal map node effects cleared. I think that's right. Where else is this used? Excuse me. I think that will work. So we clear incompatible effects here. The problem is I need to create a new thing here. Private void cleanup node contexts. We'll do cleanup node contexts node there. Where else is this emit signal? Instance.map node to affect context. Yeah, so here we're going to do instance cleanup node contexts node. And then the same thing here. Okay, I think that should work. All right, let's see what that does. Hello, Blair William, welcome back. I get to watch the VOD anyway after. Yeah. Yeah, good to see you though. Welcome back to the stream. All right, let's see what happens here. Oh, interesting. I don't think that skip button. I think I need to fix that as well. This is actually not working. Okay. The Inquisition blessed one location. All right. This is probably not going to work. Nope. Let's try again. This is going to be very annoying to test. Trying to think if there's a better way to do this. Okay, this should be all right. Okay, blood rewards increased by 5. Okay, cool. So now if I do this one, card upgrade nodes, booster nodes, let's just do this. Dang. I'm trying to think how could I actually test this better? Let's do this real quick. Oh, I got some errors here. Invalid argument count for invoking callable. Oh. This wouldn't have worked anyway. Instance on node type change node. There we go. Okay. That'll work. I think I need to just go into my obelisk configuration here. For the combat, let's change this to have a huge weight and then amount to change 10. All right. That doesn't help. Wow, this is annoying. Maybe this one will work now. Okay. So now this should be easy enough. So now I'll do this here. It should remove if it targets the booster here. There we go. Reduces your maximum health by 10. Blood reward is increased by 6. Okay, so that worked. It removed the offers enemy card, which is good. Okay, maybe we'll give it another shot. I'm pretty sure that's working now, though. One thing that I want to test. This blessed particles, show blessing effect. This is wrong. Okay, set show blessing effect on map node effects cleared. Okay. I think that is working. Well, I'm just gonna stop testing it because we verified that it worked in one situation, so, and it's generic enough, it should work in all. So I think that's good. Now I just need to undo all the testing stuff that I did. So here, put that back. Obelisk configuration. Put that back, put that back. Cool, all right. Remove incompatible map node effects when map node type changes. All right, so that fixes that. Let's check this one. Obelisk skip button doesn't block mouse input. Let me just make sure that's still the case. I got through first logic coding part in C# course, and oh my, how many refactors you had to make, making head spinning, but now working with tiles and setting up first levels are so fun. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, there's a lot of refactoring the C# course, but that's mostly because as the game we make increases in complexity, you know, things need to change, and I don't like to, with my courses, I like to show the process of like building gradually and refactoring, because Otherwise, the course would just be, hey, write this whole complicated script right now, and you wouldn't be able to see why the script ends up in that final state. So I think it's better for learning purposes to start small and see how the script evolves over time. What the heck? Oh, I'm working on a new card, the Nautilus Cup, and it just was chosen. Okay, yeah, that skip button is not working. So let's go to the obelisk event state machine on skipped. So I need to go to my obelisk container. Skip event button. Yeah, so I need to listen for the skipped in here. Skip event button dot skipped plus equals on skipped. I just need to do clickable coordinator, disable mouse input. I think that's it. I already had that stubbed out. I just never finished that, I guess. Sunday Dev, wow, yes. The empty card. I was going to say that other courses always build up already final ready scripts, but this one shows the real nature of coding. Yeah, I think it's nice. The void from PoE. Okay, that is fixed now. Getting through a lot of bugs, that's good. Okay, fix obelisk skip not blocking input. Cool. Alrighty, what else do we need to do here? Got to do the update the map node tooltip. That's definitely something important. Ability type tracker provider can inadvertently exclude abilities that are executed during the turn. That one's going to be quite involved. That one is going to be quite involved. Add more trigger node buffs, debuffs. Combat log, replace Ox and Scarab abilities with the new Compose version, highlight necrosis text and ability descriptions. Yeah, I really don't know what to do here. Shoot. All of these things are quite involved. This one would be easy to do, but it's relatively small. Man. This one is going to be very hard to do too. This one is kind of like related to the turn history stuff where I'm logging all the abilities and whatnot. I could take a stab at handling that right now. All right, well. Well, let me ask you this. I do need to overhaul the booster event. So does anyone have any ideas? Let's maybe discuss that if anyone in the chat wants to opine. So the booster nodes, the problem here is that they're just not very interesting. So let me head on over to a booster and explain why they're not that interesting. So if I go to my booster node here, I want to offer the player multiple choices of boosters, but the problem is that I just don't think that these are that interesting. So the free option here, it contains a guaranteed minion card and has 3 total cards for free. This one, the second option, contains an additional card but costs money. And then the third option contains an additional card, but then all cards drop with +1 to tier, and it costs more money. The problem is, I don't really think that these are really that meaningful, the choices. I mean, getting additional cards is useful, but the idea of having like a guaranteed minion or a guaranteed relic or a guaranteed ritual, I don't know, it's not very interesting. Like, I never find when I'm doing playtesting that the boosters, like, I have an interesting choice in terms of what the booster options are. So I just need to figure out a better way of making this a more interesting choice. One thing that I could do is, instead of doing it based on tag, like relic or ritual or minion, I could do it based on ability. So I could say, you know, one card in here contains a fire ability or something like that. Offering like more cards, I guess, is an interesting idea. Adding +1 to the tier of all cards. Yeah, I don't know. These just don't feel that interesting. So if anyone has any ideas, you want to help me brainstorm in the chat what to do about this. Yeah, is right. I mean, maybe offering certain ability types would be interesting. I mean, I guess, what are the goals of the booster system? The goals of the booster system is, I want to give the player a free option so they could just build up their card inventories and not have to spend their money. But ideally, the options that cost some blood would be tempting because they could enhance the player build, right? So I think one of the problems is that really the guaranteed relic or guaranteed ritual, those are not very compelling. Now, if the player's doing a fire build and then one booster pack said, hey, contains cards that scale with fire or contains cards with fire abilities, that might be a little bit more interesting. So that could be an option. Build defining choices, show card for each choice. Yeah, that could work. Affecting the next cards too, maybe. Excuse me. What do you mean by that? Affecting the next cards? I kind of like the idea of maybe showing what the card abilities have, but the problem is with doing like card abilities that there are cards that have interesting sorry, they have interesting abilities that maybe, like, I had to account for all the different ability types. So if I look at my Medusa head, for instance, like this does damage, but this also has like a projection of or this has a projection of damage, and this has also paralysis. Like the next booster cards you get are also relic cards. Oh, I see. Let's see. Booster. The other problem with doing like an ability-based card choosing is that I actually don't have the card abilities. So in this card loot table here, it's just a card definition resource, but at this point, actually maybe it's fine. I basically have to instantiate the card script associated with the card and then look inside at the abilities and find abilities that have like fire or whatever. Ever thought about having true legendary cards that glow at all times? Like really obvious glow and maybe can't be modified? Legendary cards come from alchemy. I don't know if I would ever make a card drop as legendary. Maybe like luck stat that boosts your drop rate based on blood spent. I want to make the choice a little bit more interesting than just a chance. Like, if you're going to spend money, it should be basically guaranteed to be better, I think. Just trying to think like how, as a player, what would I want out of the booster system? The main things that I would want out of the booster system as a player is a choice of booster that could fit into my build. Or a booster that is guaranteed to give me some more powerful cards. Boosters should always only offer card reward. Yeah, they always offer cards only. Maybe blood vessel fills based on currency spent. One of those full, you get an additional card. That would be an interesting artifact idea, but I don't know if I would make that like a core part of the booster. But let me write that down. I wanna write that down. Artifacts. Where are my artifacts list? Here we go. Artifact. Track blood spent. Offer bonuses. Like extra card. Over certain threshold. That's a good idea. Reroll with blood, maybe. Yeah, that could work. Let me, I'm just going to, I keep coming back to the idea of the boosters offering cards based on abilities rather than based on, like, their tag. So, let me Let me maybe just experiment with that a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to work great, but we'll figure it out. So let me do this. We've got the ability type filter here. If I pick cards, if args with tags has a value, let me see. So the problem here is, I don't know if this is going to be a performance problem, but what I'd be doing is instantiating card class instance every time this filter goes through. Maybe it's not worth thinking about right now, but what I could do is I could maybe do this private base card instance. Initialize card instance equals to card instance. Dupe.card instance is equal to card instance. So if I just create those classes up front and store them on the resource itself, then what I can do in the loot table here, oh, I should probably make that public, I suppose. I'm going to rename this actually loot table card instance. Get private set. Okay, so if I go to my card loot table manager here, I'm just going to ignore this with tags for now. Let's do var matches card tag filter is equal to that. Var matches ability type filter is equal to ability type filter is equal to null, or item.loot table card instance dot has ability of type. And then we pass in the args ability type filter. Then we can return matches card type filter. What the heck? Okay, let's try that. Then if I go to my booster configuration, we're going to get rid of this get affinities. Maybe skip booster option and get a bonus for next booster node. That could work, yeah, that's a good idea. Hello, Kazori, welcome back. Good to see you. Create card tag keyword. Okay. So I'm going to change this get affinities here to a type array. I'm going to do private static read only type ability type types. Let's do fire, shield, paralysis, heal, poison, damage. I'm sure I'm missing some, but we'll just test it with these for now. I'm gonna return ability types. Okay. Create card tag keyword. I'm just going to change this. Well, I do need to change this. Booster label.text. Public static string create ability type keyword. Type ability type. Bool is lowercase. That's fine. Create ability type keyword. Okay. So then inside of set booster configuration, get cards. So where is this used? Booster event state machine. Selected booster affinity. This needs to be a type. Just trying to get this working in a very rough way so I can test it out. Ability type filter is equal to affinity. It has to have with tags set. Public required with tags. Just get rid of that, I suppose. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pass. Oh, no. I don't think I'm going to be able to pass a C# type across over a signal. It's probably not going to work. Yeah, I can't do that. Shoot. Okay, well, I'll do private partial class selected affinity args extends ref counted. And we will just put all this stuff in here. Or call this selected args. So that's the way around it in C# is you can create a wrapper class that extends ref counted. And we could do public type affinity. Yeah. There we go. Affinity, booster index, and booster. We'll put selected args in here. Okay. This is going to be so broken. This is going to be so broken. Booster container dot selected args. Okay, time to see if I broke anything. Hello, Alien, welcome back. Good to see you. Oh, maybe you can create a card that you can only get through a booster node. Yeah, that would work, yeah. Well, that is the main way. Well, that's the main way you get cards, so most cards are only applicable or only retrievable through the booster system. But let's see what happens. And it broke. Affinities and costs must be exactly 3. Oh, did I do this wrong? Oh. Let's do this then. Booster configuration, get affinities. So I think I need to do this. Return ability types dot order by rng.randf dot take 3. 1 second. Okay. So we'll just order by random and then take 3. I don't know if this is going to work. I just quickly hacked something together here, but it may work. There is an error here though, which is unfortunate. I did not check anything. That seems to have worked though. Check it out. I wasn't really paying attention, but let's try it. Here. Contains poison, paralysis, and heal cards. Contains paralysis, shield, and heal cards. So let's go here. Guaranteed game.data.ability.fire card. Okay. Shield, heal. So if I do heal here. Yeah, look at that. All of these cards have heal now. So that may be the way to do it. Now I probably don't want to make all of the cards have healing. I'll probably change it to like guaranteed heal or whatever. So the thing I don't like about this system though is that I'm going to have to come in here in the booster configuration and add all the different types here. So for instance, like I have a bunch of base ability types. So I would just need to keep this list updated. So damage is 1, echo is 1, fire, heal, holy, paralysis, poison, shield, speed. So that's the problem. I would need to keep this list updated, but that is giving me more interesting choices already. Like with the booster, being able to just choose what type of ability you want from the booster and have at least one card drop with that. I think is interesting. So if I do poison here, yeah. So it gave me some poison abilities. The question I would have though is, does that work with something like the rat? So if I look at my rat here, oops. Copy adjacent poison. Yeah, so that wouldn't work because the rat doesn't have poison abilities specifically. Has a base ability of type. I should probably change that. But that is a little bit more interesting. 400% more likely to have heal cards. No, I don't want to do RNG with, if I'm gonna say it contains a heal card, it needs to contain a heal card. What I'm thinking is I'll just make it a guaranteed drop 1 heal card. So like guaranteed poison, this would be guaranteed to drop at least 1 poison card. But I don't want the boosters to merely have a chance of having what you're looking for. They should offer at least 1 guaranteed option. And then of course there can be, you know, the other cards that drop in the pack, in that booster pack, have a chance to be anything, which means that you could get multiple poison cards if you chose poison. Do paralysis here. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm gonna have to think about that more, but that is, that does make the booster slightly more interesting. I just have to figure out how I want these abilities to work, because there are certain cards that are basically never going to drop with that guaranteed ability. The rat is a good example. So the rat, because it copies poison abilities, it doesn't actually technically have a poison ability. And so when I select, like, I want poison cards, that rat is never going to be there. So there are cards like that which have like very, very hyper specific abilities, to where if I have an ability filter there, like I was just experimenting with, certain cards would never be chosen as part of that ability filter. So I just have to figure out a way of handling that situation. Anyway, so it would now be a good idea to create a different rarity booster nodes, like minor booster node with 3 types of minor boosters, or fire booster node, 3 fire boosters of different rarity and cost. A minor booster node with 3 types of minor boosters, or a fire booster node. Oh, you mean like on the map? So having like different booster node types that affect everything, like all the options within it. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I think there could be, there's a couple of interesting things to do. I just need to think about this a little bit more. And I could mix and match too. Like I could mix both systems. I could say, like, a booster could offer a guaranteed minion, and the next booster could offer a guaranteed fire ability card, and the next booster could offer, you know, something else. Like I could mix and match them. It doesn't need to be just one filter. That may be the way to do it. Or yeah, I could have a booster option that offers all fire nodes or all certain paralysis nodes or whatever, or paralysis cards. Yeah, something to think about. Game development on a Sunday? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What if you group cards like that as has no ability tag? Yeah, that could work. I could just group everything into like something like a utility abilities or special abilities kind of deal. And then a special ability could just be anything that doesn't match the filters that I put up. That might work. You have to do house chores. House chores. Good old house chores. Everyone loves house chores. Everyone loves house chores. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to think about this some more, but I think this is an interesting idea, so I'll explore it some more for sure. But I think that's gonna be it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a good Sunday. And yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. So check out the links in the description below for all the ways you could support the game. You can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. That would be the best way to help if you haven't done so. And you could also join the Discord. That's linked below as well. So yeah, take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right. Bye-bye.